Our attention is monopolised by Norm Smith medalists on the 360 agenda. Dusty's D-Day arrives. Has the Richmond champ done enough to return for finals football? Tiger coach Damien Hardwick answers September's biggest question. Christian Petracca's injury scare. What did force the All-Australian from the track on the weekend? And is he right for Friday nights? And Bulldogs coach Luke Beveridge joins us as he contemplates another 4-week campaign to upset the order and make a familiar run beginning in the West. I'm Jared Waitley, here's Mark Robinson. This Tuesday night, it's footy from all angles. Hello, Robbo.
Hello, Jared.
The breaking news of the last 10 minutes has huge ramifications for what is about to unfold in the first week of the finals. Nat Fyfe, the Fremantle captain, is out of the elimination final on Saturday against the Bulldogs. He injured his hamstring at training, had scans last night. They've come back confirming the opposite hamstring. So the right hamstring on this occasion. It has been a hellishly interrupted season for the Brownlow medalist 2 times over. He played only 7 games. Round 23, the top up to try to get him ready for finals, but the body hasn't held up. And think about what he's led Fremantle through. He's led them through the barren years and through the rebuilds. And as they are on the cusp of their first finals appearance since 2015, he will not be part of it. Peter Bell, the GM of footy at Fremantle, has released a statement. We won't have a timeline just yet on Nathan's return, but we are hopeful we will see him feature at some point this finals. It would be very late. It would probably be the biggest day if Fyfe was to make it back.
No, we won't be seeing Nathan Fyfe again this year, and people say, how do you know that? You're not a doctor. Even if he makes himself available for grand final, does the Fremantle coach put Nathan Fyfe into the team? He's played 1 game in how many weeks?
Since round 19, yeah.
He played round 19.
No, he played round 19, got injured, then played round 23.
That's a huge... I just don't think it'll happen. And it's a horrible story for Nathan Fyfe. He has... At stages, he was the best player in the competition. He was a fierce competitor. You turn on the TV or you go and watch Fremantle play and there was this bloke who was running around seemingly doing everything. And the good thing about the Dockers is they've built a team around him and they've had to actually perform really well without him this year. So in a lot of ways, Fyfe was going to be the cream, and that's been robbed from the team. But from a personal point of view, I'm absolutely sure that he would be shattered. Yeah. Shattered by the events of yesterday.
One of the big figures of the game will not be there. So Nat Fyfe out. We spoke with Justin Longmuir about the sheer excitement of the Fremantle community. So that will be a dampener, I'm sure, there right now. We'll have the immediate reaction of Luke Beveridge coming up shortly as we continue our journey through the finals. Coaches Damien Hardwick in a few minutes' time, and then Luke Beveridge. Our players are here, Christian Petracca and Jack Riewoldt, and that leads us towards tomorrow night. The 4 walls and the watch list with an intense focus on the 4 finals that are stretching out before us.
Nice week, Jared. Nice night tonight.
This is a high-stress time of year. Usually fuses are a little bit short. You don't want to sort of step out of line, I don't reckon, with the coaches at the moment. How would it go if the chief executive's dog just went bounding out onto the training track, as happened in Brisbane today?
That's Bert. That's Greg Swan's dog, Bert. He reckons that the dog knows Cameron Rayner. That's not Cameron Rayner. Have a look at that. Why does everyone love dogs running on the sporting field? Because the dogs are so happy, and it makes you happy that the dogs are happy. Well done, Swanee.
I don't
well
think
done.
Chris Fagan that happened.
All right.
Pick me a Tuesday love if you would.
My Tuesday love is a Tuesday admiration, Jared. And her name is Danielle Laidley.
Yeah, I like that line. It's not just a story of acceptance, it's a story of admiration.
Yeah, it is. In my role, in your role, we met a lot of people in sport, and she might be the bravest person I've met through my job. She did an interview with the Herald Sun on the weekend, and there it is behind you. And we're going to be seeing a hell of a lot more of Danielle Laidley. My understanding is that the AFL are talking to her about becoming an ambassador for the AFL. AFL is big on inclusion, and they see in Danielle, who's a transgender person, they see in Danielle a person who can make young people and other people in this country, gives them an opportunity, and through football you know, we'll try and be really inclusive. So, well done to Danielle, and well done to the AFL. When you read the book, Jared, there's a section there on Gil McLachlan and Steve Hocking going to meet Danielle for the first time at a place near Faulkner Park, and how nervous she was to go and see Gil and Steve, and she talks about that meeting.
Yep.
It's quite fascinating.
It's an incredible story, and then to watch 60 Minutes and to look forward to reading the book, because we're all intertwined in Dean's football career and now Danielle's story. It's absolutely remarkable to take in, and then to think back. There's a line in your story where Donald McDonald said to her, "Why are you so angry?"
So angry.
And she pondered, "If only I
could tell
you."
Yeah.
It's remarkable.
Right, your love?
Hey, if I told you when we walked out of the MCG, Grand Final night 2019, having seen Marlion Pickett make his debut and the Tigers win their second flag, imagine if I told you, hey, by the way, we won't see finals footy at this ground until 2022.
No, of course not.
There is a spiritual part to what is about to unfold. Doubt. This city has been denied so much through the pandemic, and one of the absolute markers of our identity and our character is September football. Ripped out of this city for 2 years straight and about to return in the most powerful way. So a Friday night which features Melbourne, and then a Saturday which will surely have 90+ thousand for Geelong and Collingwood. We've had the great taster of Carlton and Collingwood as an entree on a Sunday at the end of the home and away season, and this is what the Herald Sun's front page looks like tomorrow. Bring it home. That idea of the home of football is about to taste finals for the first time since 2019.
Our 8-page finals guide. Yeah, it's good. You might have everyone bottom left corner there. Scott's flag shot since 2011. I was speaking to Corey from Champion Data tonight driving in, because I knew we'd be talking about Melbourne and Sydney. And I'll just make this quick. They've only played 2 finals together, Jared.
Yep.
Melbourne, Sydney, South Melbourne.
Yep.
1987 semi-final. And that would have been the Sydney Swans and Melbourne won by 76. And before that was in 1936, when South Melbourne won by 26 points. So twice, these 2 famous old clubs have only played finals football, and they're going to play Friday night at the MCG, and there's going to be 80,000 people there.
I'm eager to get to the Gabba for Thursday night, but that homecoming across Friday and Saturday will really be something. Let's start the agenda with the Tigers. They have survived a few tight scrapes this season to be on the grid at the end. Sliding doors moments, if you will. Maybe never more so than half-time in round 20 when they were up against it against the Lions. They pulled that out, and it has vaulted their ambition toward this final series.
It was Richmond beating Richmond the first half.
What an electric start here from the Lions. They've kicked 6 unanswered.
That vision says it all, doesn't it? Damien Hardwick, head in hand.
Really feels like season on the line for the Tigers. Coming back, coming. Look at that. Riewoldt makes it 3 in a row. Into the open goal, back to 25 points. The Tigers are back big time.
There's Chris Fagan, who, for the first time this afternoon, doesn't look so calm.
The Tigers are back.
The good thing and the challenging thing at times when you're 38 points down, you know, the players can go one of 2 ways, but I think it's a measure of the group, and we've been through some tough weeks, no question. What this means, well, we can only wait and see.
Riewoldt from 50 launches. Tigers are in front. 60 seconds, spot on. Here they go. Graham out of the middle. A long ball inside 50. Marked to the back, and it'll be paid here to Gardner. Oh, played on and coughed it up. This is going to be the game right there. It's going to be the Tigers' ball game.
You know, you just got to make sure that your run is at the right time. You know, we know that. We understand that.
It's going to be the Tigers who keep their season alive, and Tom Lynch with his 4th goal. Siren's going to sound. Tigers are going to win. Tigers are alive. Tigers are alive in 2022.
And the coach who is about to take his team to an elimination final at the Gabba, haven't the Lions and the Tigers known a few big dates in recent times? Damien Hardwick is with us. Damien, great to have you back on 360.
Evening, guys. Hey, I've just picked myself up after Robbo declared himself a doctor on national TV.
We're going to get you to do a bit of medics for us in a moment as well. Hey, as sliding doors moments, that's about as big as it gets. You pull that game out, it's a 4-game streak, and what do you know? It takes you back to the Lions.
Yeah, it was. It was an amazing, turnaround. It was scores from stoppage early in that first half were killing us, and we managed to eradicate that and get the ball going our way. And we've probably played some pretty good footy since. We learned a hell of a lot about ourselves in that first half and some areas of our game we had to improve, and we've sort of gone to work on those. But, the proof will be in the pudding this week. We play a side up at Brisbane that are fiercely competitive on their home deck, and it's a challenge we're certainly looking forward to.
How much has changed, or has it just sharpened in these 4 weeks leading in, Damien?
Yeah, it's been a little bit of both. There were some things that we had to eradicate from our game. We're giving up too many errors from our offensive ball movement that we've tightened up, and that's really improved over the last 4 weeks. And there's some things around clearance that we had to get a little bit better too. And credit where credit's due. Andrew McQualter, our midfield coach, and all our other coaches have got to work on that aspect. But David Teague's done some work, obviously, with Xavier Clark also offensively to get the ball moving a little bit cleaner and better. So we've put some work into those facets of our game, and it's certainly improved. So there's some things have changed, but also I think we've sharpened up a little bit too. Our side has been a little bit more stable. We haven't had a lot of players going in and out, so it's been a little bit of a stability that's helped us also.
The dogs are barking. Yeah. The dogs are barking.
Yeah, sorry. The dog's losing its mind in the background there.
Yeah, Matt Greg Swan's dog ran on to training today at the Gabba, and there it is. Have a look. And now we've got your mutt barking in the background at home.
There's a fair chance that Fugs has got that dog on the barbecue already as we speak. He'd be that angry sort of thing. So it's, I did laugh. I saw that on Twitter today. It is funny as a coach. You sort of want to be as relaxed as possible, but like you said earlier, it doesn't take much for you to flip your lids. So I did get a bit of a chuckle out of that today.
Can I talk to you about the art of coaching? When you lost to North Melbourne, you drew with the Dockers. There's a lot of strategy that you must go through, but a lot of times when I hear you, Dimmer, you talk about Tigers football. Okay, and that's a brand, which is the strategy, but there's also the brand, which is the attitude. What have you had to work on mostly since, say, that Dockers draw halftime in the Lions game? Strategy or attitude?
A little bit of strategy. Look, even in those games that we lost, we talk about the 80-20 rule. 80% of things we're doing pretty well. The 20% was the fundamentals of execution inside of 50, and those 4 games let us down horribly. Like, our ball use inside 50 was not quite to the level that it had been over the previous, 12 or so rounds, and then also after. But also we went from AFL 1 scoring efficiency to AFL 18 in that 4 to 5 week block. So there's a little bit of semantics there that we looked at that we thought, geez, we're not playing quite as bad as we probably are deemed to be. But the fact of the matter is we've got to clear up these areas, and scoring efficiency and just your basic execution on goal can lead to some terrible outcomes, although you might be playing some reasonable footy. So those have really improved over those 4 weeks, and we've obviously had some pretty good wins along the way.
The start of the final series just lost Nat Fyfe. Will we have Dustin Martin, Damien?
Well, we're taking a squad of 26, and Dustin is in that squad of 26. We'll finalise the sides, tomorrow afternoon in our final team meeting. But he had a really good session on I can't remember. I don't know what date it is today. What is it today? Tuesday. On Monday, I think it was. And he, he was really evident. He hit high speed like we haven't seen for a period of time. So he's done everything we've asked. We've just got to pick him to play, which is on me and the match committee. So it'll be tough not to pick him.
Come on, you've never given us a headline on 360. Never. Brisbane expects him to play. The football world is so anxious about watching Dustin Martin play. This is his time. This is September time. And you're sitting there saying he's in a squad of 26 and he's done everything right. He's playing, isn't he?
Have you muted yourself on purpose,
I'm only joking, Robert. It's all right. I can't answer that one.
Too good. Too good.
Smarter! class, you are. So that's a yes.
He's given himself every chance, Robbo. You'll find out tomorrow like everyone else.
So round 16 was the last time we saw him, and he's played 8 games for the season. What's fair to ask of him, and what is the judgment call?
Oh, look, if he does play, and like we've sort of spoken about, there is a chance that will happen. He will play a different role. He will play predominantly forward. We know he's played that role before, and he's quite capable. Against Brisbane, he's had some really good games like that. But what we do know is players of Dustin's ilk, they put themselves where they need to be. You know, I've said this often as a coach, the very best players have got a great understanding where to put themselves at the best of times. So that's something we'll work our way through. Once again, he's got another session to get through tomorrow, which is only a light session, but we've just got to make sure he pulled up okay from the previous day. So, but like I said, he was in a really fine form, although it was a shorter training session, but we're really pleased with what he put out there.
I reckon some immature finals teams, Jim, might get ahead of themselves by saying, oh, geez, Adams is out, Reynolds suspended. Geez, this is going to be a little bit easier than what we thought. I'm suspecting from a mature finals team like Richmond, and you've had a lot thrown at you over the last 5 years, that doesn't mean squat that these two players are out.
No, it doesn't. You know, finals are just a different beast. As we know, they're high contest, high pressure, and regardless of who takes the field, whether they're the most experienced player or the youngest player, there's an expectation every player that dons both club jumpers, that they play a Richmond or a Brisbane way. And, you know, we're under no illusions that this is a very, very hungry Brisbane side. They haven't had the best finish to their season that they would have liked, but we certainly know when they play their best footy, they're incredibly hard to defend, and they can score really, really heavily at various stages, especially on the centre bounce up there at the Gabba. So there's going to be a challenge there for us, no doubt, but it's one we're certainly looking forward to. We had a great rivalry with this side, and we look forward to taking that to another level, hopefully come Thursday night.
We don't have to look too far back to see how powerful they are. Damn what they did. Hey, what's the dog's name again? Call him over.
Oh, bloody Hank. He's losing his mind.
But
he's not here. He's losing. Hank,
bring him back. Put him on. If he comes back, just put him on your knee.
Yeah, who's this? Oh, geez, the big dog to put on the knee. Look.
Just look at him.
Hey, big fella.
Have a look at him.
Out.
Well,
losing his mind.
That is brilliant. That is brilliant.
The worst TV of all time, you bloke.
No, it's how relaxed. Could you imagine you acting like this 5 years ago? No way, you're a cat on a hot tin roof, Dimmer, going into a first final, and you're picking up your bloody dog on national television and laughing and giggling. So it says a little bit about you as coach and your team, I suppose.
Yeah, well, I think so. I think the one thing we always talk about is we work incredibly hard and our preparation's really diligent, but we sort of like to have a fun time along the way. The one thing I've learned to do is to try and separate myself as much as possible, and it is a challenge at various stages. You know, the dog keeps me cosy various stages. One of these every now and then will relax me also. But
you are loose, mate. You are loose.
No. But it's the game itself is just so much fun. You know, to make finals itself it's so hard these days. The competition is so even. So we want to celebrate it, but we also can't wait for the challenge ahead. It is a season within a season, as we know, but we're really looking forward to the challenge of going up to Brisbane, getting the warm weather on our backs and giving ourselves our best shot, because we certainly know our best footy is quite capable of playing, you know, a significant challenge to other sides playing in September also.
Hey, not so long ago, we saw the might of Brisbane do you over in the first half at the MCG.
Yeah.
So when you're reviewing the game, and we asked Chris Fagan this last night, do you concentrate mainly on Brisbane's first half or what you guys did in the second half when you're sort of reviewing or previewing the game with your players?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. There's some things that we knew that if Brisbane got on top, they'd hurt us in, and they did in that first half. And we went to work on a little bit those in the second half. You know, their stoppage craft and their ability to score from stoppage really, really hurt us. I think they kicked 6 goals in that first quarter. It might have been 4, I'm not too sure, but it was a lot. And from our point of view, we had to go to work to minimise those scores, and our players got to work. You know, I remember our mids got, you know, really down and dirty and started to get the ball going our way a little bit, because as we know, the Brisbane forward line is incredibly potent. If you give them an opportunity to score, if you give them 50-odd plus inside 50s, they're going to hurt you. So we've got to make sure the ball stays in our forward half. It'll be a real territory-based game. So centre bounce and clearance is going to be very, very important come this week.
Let me workshop one idea with you, Dimmer. Adam Kingsley, you asked Adam for his absolute best finishing off before he graduates. He's the Giants coach. I can imagine in one room, in his spare time, he's ringing Tim Taranto going, you couldn't just stay at the Giants, could you? While in the other room, someone from Richmond's ringing, hey, we really want you at the Tigers.
Yeah, it was funny. We went out to dinner the other night with a few of our close mates, and we were having a few discussions, and we did have a few beers, and we're trying to do some trades over the table for the boat. But anyway, there was a big laugh. But look, he's a ripper king. As he's waited his time, he's going to be a terrific coach for GWS nonetheless. And we did have a quiet joke because he's very much committed to the Richmond footy club for this period that we've got him. But I did say if something's going wrong in the first quarter, I'll be saying your head's in GWS, you blokes. So he's prepared for it anyway. But look, he's a wonderful coach. He's been a wonderful servant for us, and we wish him all the very best come when his time's finished with us.
It's great to have you with us, Damien. Good luck for Thursday night at the Gabba.
Absolute pleasure, guys. Enjoy the night.
Good.
Thanks, Bob.
Damien Hardwick, the Richmond coach. I think actually we might see you Monday, win or lose. I think Damien might be booked to join us with Simon Goodwin on Monday on our regular coaches' night.
Nice.
We're going to head to Luke Beveridge next. So the news of the night is in the opposition camp. Nat Fyfe is out of Saturday's elimination final. We'll paint the picture of the Dogs' assaults. Do they know a thing or two about a 4-week campaign that they are about to embark upon? The last place in an 8th place finish, but a familiar campaign and challenge ahead. Saturday night, immediately following events at the MCG, Geelong and Collingwood, we will take you to the west for the elimination final between the Dockers and the Dogs. And Western Bulldogs coach Luke Beveridge is with us. Luke, great to have you on 360.
Thanks for having me, Jared. Hi, Robbo.
Before we delve into your business, what was your reaction to the late breaking news that Nat Fyfe is out of this final?
I just heard probably 15 minutes ago. So we've been assuming that it'd probably be 3 of Fyfe, Logan, Lob, or Fyfe, Lob, and Meek. Now we're probably with him out. And it's going to be a bit wet in Perth apparently. So they've got a decision to make as to whether they take the 2 rucks in. You wouldn't imagine Taberner plays, but that'd be something that might happen as a surprise.
Bevo, this is a long shot. Greg Swan's dog ran onto the field today and upset Fagan at training. Dimmer just picked his dog up and put it on his knee as we were interviewing him. Have you got a dog? And if you have, can you call the dog into the room and put him on your knee, please?
I can't help you tonight, mate. I'm sorry. I did see the end of Dimmer's segment, so I can't offer any Dr. Doolittle sort of side shows tonight.
No dogs?
No dogs. I love dogs. Love the Bulldogs in particular. Caesar, our mascot, and his family, but no dogs in the Beveridge family.
Luke, when last we saw you, you didn't know your fate. You were hopeful you'd done your business. We saw the players. Did you torture yourself with Collingwood Carlton or just wait to be told the result?
No, I was in there watching it with them in the background. We assumed probably halfway through the 3rd quarter that our year was close to done and dusted, the way Carlton were playing. And, silly of us to think we could write Collingwood off with their stamina and what they've been able to do, particularly in last quarters over the course of the year. But it looked unlikely. And so I think you got an insight into the boys' emotions, which is good to see. It obviously means a hell of a lot to make finals every year. It's such a struggle sometimes in inequitable sort of draw or whatever it may be. And we've been, our inconsistency's been reported quite comprehensively, but it's an achievement. We're 8th. We're in there with a look.
Did your mind immediately go to, right, I know this, let's get to work?
A little bit. Look, I think this time of year, once you make it, you can start reflecting on some of the platforms, the things that have stabilised your thinking early in the year. You internalise some of your angles and how you connect with your players from a an emotional point of view and how they've come together. And, it is a testament to their resilience to be able to, in the end, make it. We haven't had the most prolific year, but we've hung in there, and that says something. So now we can draw on some of those things, and maybe they now become, strengths, and we can fortify ourselves and go into a Perth final, with a spring in our step.
Part of getting inside the Dogs, Bevo, is your theme, your storytelling in the lead up to a game. You'll have one this week. Has that been presented to the group already, or do you wait later till you get to Perth before you drop that on them?
Oh, it's probably something you take an angle a bit later in the week, Robbo, and when you debrief post game, sometimes you talk to the storyline and some of the players who provided some inspiration to their teammates, and you definitely bring it to life through your own group. But no, it's a bit early in the week for me to float that. We'll touch on some things tomorrow. We're training at Port Melbourne. Our redevelopment is well and truly underway at Whitten, so we're off the premises. And Port Melbourne have been very kind to let us train at their oval. And Aaron Norton, that qualifying last couple of minutes means that Aaron Norton plays his 100th game in Perth this week. So we'll run a tape of some of his highlights, and we'll recognise him for the character that he's been at our football club, and the young juggernaut that he's presented as a forward and led the charge over the last few years.
It's only a narrative, but probably throughout much of this year there hasn't been a lot of love towards the Dogs from outside. Now, I don't know if that means anything inside, but when it got to the All-Australian last week, Bevo, and there wasn't a single Dog in the group, including your captain, Marcus Bontempelli, and we were discussing it on our show last Wednesday, whether you would use that in some way to if you had to shake up the team. Do you use the sort of us against the world often, and will you use the All-Australian snub in any way?
Well, not necessarily the us against the world stuff, Robbo. I think the contemporaries these days, they're not built for that adversarial message too often. You're tapping into the personality of your group at large and the individuals who represent, and I think more, I suppose the inspiration that you find comes from within. And Jack and Marcus would be the first to acknowledge that the players picked in their positions have had better years than them. And so, look, internally it was just expected that our two wouldn't have made it. And we recognised that it was an achievement to make the 40, but they were long shots to make the final team, and that was to be expected based on how they've been able to perform in previous years and how they probably haven't had their most outperforming years this year.
The health check before you head off to the West. Is Bailey Smith okay for this game?
He should be, Jared. He'll train tomorrow. He's had just a legacy sort of load thing just to take care of. We've lightened his load a little bit over the last week or so. He ran and kicked and probably performed about 3/4 of the session on Monday. And he'll do the full session tomorrow, and we expect him to be available.
But just one more into your psyche. You finish in 8th, you get in on the last couple of kicks and you celebrate, and we see it. Right now, are you taking it 1/4 at a time, or are you thinking, righto, boys, we can win it? We have been given the greatest opportunity. No one's talking about us. Get us into your head if you can. How are you talking to the group? Can you win the whole lot from here?
Yeah, well, I think these days, Robbo, quite simply for me, you've got to win 3 or you've got to win 4. And, obviously we tied badly last year. Melbourne were outstanding, but we won 4 in another year. And so it's only one more game, and that's not a hell of a lot. I mean, in the scheme of things, and Robert, Jared, I know you've been quite vocal about the bye before the final series. I'm neither here nor there on it, but But ultimately, you know, sometimes what can happen with the draw, and ultimately you get to the point where you're playing and probably the 7 other best sides in the comp, that you might end up 6th and you might be in better nick than the 3rd side who possibly, you know, played 3 of the bottom sides twice, you know, and it's hard to actually know. Like, say, if you think about some of the teams who have lost those games that you've identified over the journey, Robbo, and still, like, we're, you know, I'm sorry, Jared, it stood the test of time still. I mean, Richmond and Melbourne have still been winning flags and finishing the top 4. So, but having said that, I'm not for or against the bye. But once you get to this point, it becomes something totally different. And, you know, a thought turns into belief. You know, embracing that. If you all don't truly believe that you're capable, then you're no chance. And we have beaten 3 of the top 4 sides. We haven't beaten Geelong. And, you know, we believe on any given day that we can produce our best. And can we do it this week against Fremantle? Absolutely, we'll believe that. And but can we do it another 3 times after that? Who knows? So that's the approach we'll take. It becomes quite a romantic type period in your football club where everyone comes together, feels good about the fact that you're still going, and yeah, there's really nothing to lose. And I think that sentiment around us is to be expected, and I like the fact that people expect us to make the finals. They expect us to be successful. They expect us, you know, even to be there on the last day. People predicted that at the start of the year, and you know, it remains to be seen whether or not we can do that. But I love the fact that we're in that position, and we're under that kind of scrutiny, and we're probably rarely ever many people's second team now, and that's okay. I mean, that's where we've got to, but we've got to find a way to, you know, sustain performance better so we can finish in that top 4.
You've made believers of us before, so good luck, Luke, with the mission at hand.
Thanks, Jared. Thanks, Robert.
Thanks, Bevo.
Luke Beveridge, the Western Bulldogs coach, ahead of the trip to the West.
Good insight in the end, wasn't it?
It was.
Really good.
It becomes something totally different. If you all don't believe, you're no chance. This for Jack Riewoldt and Christian Petracca as they return to the month of September and try to mount this quest all over again. They have taken us on the journey on 360, and we picked that up tonight. Christian, great to have you back.
Thank you very much.
G'day, mate.
Jack, nice to see you.
How are we?
How would you rate the coach's performance?
Oh, he's sideways, isn't he? I reckon our odds just got reeled out in live betting. Coach is half drunk. No, I think just clearly he's got a really relaxed attitude, and it leads us as players into really follow him. And come game time, obviously we're extremely switched on, and we've done all our preparation, get ready to fly tomorrow. But in the end, footy is fun, and you play footy to play in finals. And I think sometimes it gets lost on you, and we've been very privileged to play in a lot of big games and play in a lot of finals. But chatting to Robbie Tarrant, who hasn't played in finals for 8 years, we had a moment probably about round 18 or 19 where we were sort of on the cusp of the 8 and in and out just with sort of weekly results. And we spoke about it as a sort of senior guy. He goes, you guys have got to remember, finals is great. Because we obviously start thinking further forward when you've been involved in it, you think, oh, like we can go the whole way. We still believe in our group. He's like, I just want to play finals. I haven't played finals for 8 years. Yeah. And you go, oh yeah. And that's I think when we did secure it in round 22, that was a really special moment. I think for that backline crew as well, that he's become a strong part of. That that's the thing. We got there for Robbie a little bit.
So you've got a calf injury and you're flying to Germany and back. Has it been a good trip?
24-hour flight, and no, my calf's fine. We had a light session last week. We obviously had the bye, so no, light session, put up a little bit tight because we played a match simulation game against our twos, and then they had to play Sydney 2 days after for the VFL. But now full training today. And
who did that?
Yeah, that's the injury scare.
Can we get zoom right in on his lip? No,
don't worry, it's all good. It's just a bruise. It's just a bruised lip.
What did he do? Clip you?
Just two
Turn around that way.
Yeah, I'm hearing fisticuffs.
Fisticuffs at Melbourne training.
Yeah. Yep. Not an entrecote. Not an entrecote. Wasn't an entrecote.
Oh, wouldn't you be in trouble? You building Christian Petracca at training, you're in the twos. Oh.
So just the sense of anticipation that you're both feeling, just for a moment, put yourself in Nat Fyfe's shoes. The interrupted season that he's had, the long wait through the rebuild. He's the captain and he pings the other hamstring.
Yeah, no, it's... look, that's really disappointing for... I think you said off the top of the show, the sort of heart and soul player that's been there through the really tough times of the Fremantle Football Club. Obviously experienced a relative amount of success under Ross Lyon in reaching a grand final. But I think it's just heartache, really. Yeah. And a really important piece to the Freo puzzle. And certainly one that we haven't seen a lot of this year due to the fact that he has been injured for a while now. So I think there's a few Bulldog supporters and players that will be sleeping a little bit easier tonight.
Luke Beveridge was just on, and I hope you were listening. He was talking about it now changes. It's finals. Footy changes. Do you feel that when you hear that? Do you go, yep, he's absolutely spot on?
Yeah, I think he's right. I think probably more the anticipation and the anxiety that builds up. Obviously, there's less games on, so people are tuning in more. And obviously, the contest is a lot hotter. That's what you find as well. Just, 8 good teams who play their game really, really well, their game system, their structure really well. It's going to be an amazing final series.
Expand on that a little bit. The contest is hotter. Exactly what do you mean? There's more bodies around. The bodies are crashing in quicker and harder than they usually do. What do you mean by hotter?
Well, I think if you look at probably the stats this year, the probably top 8 contested teams are probably the ones in finals now, and all very clean teams, very strong over the ball, contested aerially and on the ground. It's hotter because it's probably from the start it's on, it's straight away, it's bang. You're playing for something. You're playing to hold up that Premiership Cup at the end of the day.
So what is it? Just get it forward, move it forward. You've got to be controlled with the ball when you can.
Territory is probably the most crucial thing, especially early in finals as well. Like sometimes you'll just see. I probably liken it a little bit more to wet weather footy. Like you get the ball and maybe I don't go to many centre bounces, if any. So Christian, I'd assume as a player would grab the ball and drive out a corridor, drive out a stoppage. Blokes just grab it and just boot it, just get it forward. Because
territory,
territory is it's 9/10 of the law basically. If it's in your half, they can't score. So you just get it and you get it forward, and the game sort of naturally starts to find its way. But even the umpiring, like the umpires, no doubt put the whistle away.
Really?
for 3 weeks and then grand final, they really put it away. But
that's good, isn't it?
This is pure footy, and this is the really tantalising year, I reckon.
How so? That anyone can?
Yeah. Well, I saw the statistics last night that now, due to that bye week, that sides are... Well, obviously, we've had one side win it from outside the 4, and that just happened to be the first year that we had the end-of-season bye, but the chance to get there is a little bit more tantalising and more... you're a bigger chance of doing it. The stats just show that. So I just think that this is the year where everyone... I really reckon there's that natural circle where teams have beaten teams, and they go up and they go, hey, our form's not that bad against that side. Yes, they finished 6 rungs above us in the ladder, but we beat them. Or we went really close to beating them.
Because you finished at the bottom of the half of the ladder, are you in favour of this attitude that you got? Because when you finished on top, when Richmond were all conquering, you'd be... Did you argue? I can't remember, mate.
About
oh, hang on, this is unfair.
Nah.
We finished on top.
No, I think I actually really like the week off. I know you guys spoke about having the week off before the grand final, probably just due to the concussion and the build-up and also the build-up you can have to it. But why wouldn't you just get everyone cherry ripe and give those guys that are maybe a week out come back? So in our case, probably Dustin, he may have not played last week if we'd played, so he comes back for us and... the beneficiaries probably of this year.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't really, as long as we're in the finals, I don't really care how the system sort of, or whatever happens with the structure of the bye. But no, I do like playing teams when they've got their best team, their best form. I don't like, as obviously the Fyfe situation, you don't like seeing teams who are sort of short-handed. You want to be playing good teams, yeah.
When you have when does Goody talk to you guys really deep dive into the game? about what he thinks the opposition are going to do, who they might tag in the midfield and who with. When does that discussion, when is that held?
Sammy Radford, our opposition analysis coach, sort of does a little bit with us a couple of days ago, just about their game style when we versed them last, what we did well. We actually lost to them, so it was good to sort of refine on that and, you know, where they got us. And then today was probably because it's our main day down in Casey. So we did a fair bit on just structure, stoppages, the mids, how they like to move the ball, just some stuff around that. But then probably the day before captain's run on the Thursday, we'll probably just speak more about it of a team point of view and how we want to play more. More is about us, on the end of the game.
But they're going to have players that are going to go to a couple of players. I mean, Mills has been a real one-on-one midfielder, all-Australian. He gets a lot of the pill and he's very much happy to sit with someone. Do you suspect that he's a Clary and Oliver opponent this weekend or a Riewoldt?
Well, Riewoldt came to Clary last time we played him, and Clary's been sat on every single game by some sort of mid, and
and he still wins the MVP.
He's an absolute
unbelievable. Unbelievable player.
Yeah, we're probably. We probably know that's going to happen. There's going to be some sort of midfielder that's either going to be tagging me, Vines, or Clary, and they'll probably try and nullify Maisie and leave it down back. So this is the beauty about finals footy is it's going to be hot, it's going to be contested, and it's pretty much who. For us, we found it last year. It's who plays their structure consistently for longer, or who plays their role that I think wins the game.
The Brisbane matchup, so you've played some monstrous games against them at the Gabba finals and then the recent home and away at the MCG. It is an elimination final rather than a qualifying final, but it all stitches in, doesn't it? This is a sequence of games that gets to the next instalment.
Yeah, it's probably like probably like Series 7 of what's been a pretty brutal sort of relationship between the Richmond Football Club and the Brisbane Lions, and I think ever since Chris Fagan's got there, he's turned them into a really good side. We've probably had the number on them a little bit, but they did a number on us in 2020 at the Gabba. So for us, like there is always history, and a lot of people like to look at history being evidence, but for us, we need to play well, and if we want to get to where we want to get to, we've got to play well 4 weeks in a row, and we can look down the line as much as you want, but ultimately it starts Thursday night, and we believe that if we play our best football, we can win, as probably Brisbane 100% would believe that if they play their best football, they can win. So I think this is going to be a really good tussle.
It's going to be physically spiteful, that all is. That's what finals are. You got to live. Will it be verbally spiteful, Jack? 2 weeks ago, or last week, we spoke about Dane Zorko and what was said. Clearly, the yap goes on out in the field. Will Richmond be verbally vocal at maybe the captain or his teammates?
I said no last week, so I don't think...
I couldn't remember what you said last week. What'd you say? No.
It wasn't profound enough.
No, I couldn't. I just couldn't. Lots happened since last week, mate.
What's the point in wasting energy on that sort of stuff when you've got to win a final?
Does he ever shut up on
it's like wrestling. It's like wrestling. I've learned after a long time, wrestling, it buggers you and it's expensive. So don't do it. All right?
It does cook you.
Don't do it. You start taking pay cuts and then all of a sudden a wrestling fight comes in and you go,
the wife?
What was I thinking? Like,
Carly?
You remember when Geordie was right at the end of his career and I think he clocked up about 20 grand of fines.
He wouldn't tell his wife. He wouldn't tell his wife.
Can't claim it on tax too.
At least he wouldn't look at the paper and he would say, no. It wasn't me.
Oh, that's very funny.
We're laughing now, and Jim was on before with his dog and having a beer, and Jack was just talking about a team mirroring the coach. Do you feel that the Demons mirror Simon Goodwin in a lot of ways?
100%. 100%. His demeanour around the footy club, the way he approaches the game.
Which is what?
He's a very professional, serious coach, but he's got that really good element of wanting to switch off in terms of having fun and enjoying it. And I think, as what Jack said, the element of we play footy because we love it and we have fun, and that's the reason why we want to play footy. We were in these finals games, and last year we're in these big games and finals, but at the end of the day, we're kicking a footy around and with our 22 of our best mates, and that's what he probably alludes back to. It's just our higher purpose of why we play footy, the people around us, our family, our friends, people who have supported us. But no, to answer your question, yeah, we definitely mirror what he's feeling.
Have you seen the Mark Knight cartoon?
Yeah, I have. Oh, I saw it last night.
How was Nick?
What do you mean, how's Nick?
Did you speak to him because is Nick in it?
No, well, the same time playing finals, so he's not in there.
Oh, sorry.
That's what the
That's what I said. Did you speak to me?
No, I did. I saw him. He's actually upstairs doing the NFL draft here at Fox at the moment. But no,
Happy with your likeness?
listeners are a bit big for mine. Hair colour's about right. Yeah, no, you know what? My arms are probably too big. That's right.
Stiff on the chin.
They are big on the ears, aren't they?
Tell you, eye colour though. I like that.
Not too shabby.
Have you ever had one? I wouldn't mind seeing one of yours.
Yeah, well, there's
Oh,
one
I'm not playing
upstairs from
finals,
the
Jack.
1000th show.
Yeah, 1,000 shows
Yeah,
upstairs.
right.
Little peek upstairs.
Yeah.
Great to have you both here.
That wasn't very
Best
good.
of luck.
Thank you.
Not a very
What's
good
to
ending
come
from you, Jack.
on this weekend and the next.